Hey everybody, we're going to be doing the recap and review of Queen Sugar, episode 14, season 2. Title is These I Stand. Now, These I Stand, it's going to be very powerful. I don't know if a lot of people who like, those of us who do this but before I get into it, last week I told you that I am developing a style, trying to figure out exactly where I fit. And you guys know that I'm famous for long review recaps because I don't want to miss anything. Here goes. We open up a scene where we started out with we left off. Let me tell you, I like to talk to the writers. I don't know about this one because I feel that this could have been saved for the final finale, as far as we finding out that Ralph Angel may not be the father. This episode went a little slower for me, but as I got into it, I began to realize what was going on and why things happen at the end. And that's why the title is called These I Stand. We see that Darla has taken a day off of work. Okay, writers, you let Darla take a day off of work. You let Darla call Charlie and ask Charlie if it'd be alright if she takes the day off. Now, Charlie don't know what's going on and the reason why Darla is taking this day off. She's thinking that it may have to do with the fact that her parents is coming and that the fact that she's gotten very, very stressed. So Charlie says, sure, go ahead and take that day off. I understand how you may feel. Little does she know that Darla, has just crashed Ralph Angel's world, being to the fact that Ralph Angel got the most devastating, I'm telling you writers, y'all did it, but let me tell you, y'all doing it again, because now I'm understanding where y'all get these titles for. And so we see that Darla is on the phone. She's trying to, get Ralph Angel to respond to her. He ain't responding. She told him do something. Pick up the phone, say something, curse me out, call me all kinds of names, do something. Pick up the phone. So finally, Ralph Angel picks up the phone. But when he picks up the phone, he doesn't say anything. And so she says, well, Ralph Angel, I'm sorry. Sorry what I did, but I had to kind of sort of, let you know what's going on. And I want you to come home. So that's when Ralph Angel says, what home? Alright. I can understand why Ralph Angel is feeling the way he's feeling. After you get the news that you find out this son that you've had for over 6 years, you have went to prison for him, you have stolen from him, and you find out that this baby, Blue, may not be your child. So I'm feeling Ralph Angel. What home? Right now his home has been shattered. His world has been sort of snatched underneath from him. So we go on and we see Darla. Okay, Darla's been trying to get a hold of Ralph Angel. Darla can't get a hold of Ralph Angel. So let's roll on over to we see, oh man, these are not the glasses. Excuse me. These are not the right glasses because I can't. Here we go. It's extremely hot in my apartment, guys, so you guys have to excuse me. Extremely hot in there when you're at the age that I am. But anyway, let's go on with it. I'm wasting a couple of minutes, though. And so we go on and we see Charlie. We find out that the Landrian and the Bourgeons. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But apparently, they are picking with these black sugarcane owners. They are threatening them by way of taking their leases and their land away from them if they do business with Charlie. So basically, Charlie is finding this out, that they are doing some dirty pool, and that they, are threatening. And you know how black people, or some black people are. They don't want to, stand up for your right. You know how Bob Marley says, stand up for your right, fight for what you think is right. But they have been dealing with living in the South and dealing with this slave mentality, is that we dealing with Willie Lynch, slavery mentality. So they are saying, no, we are not going to, fight. We're not going to do it right now. We can't afford to do it right now. So in the meantime, we have Remy. Remy comes in, and Remy is kind of like really, he's excited due to the fact of him and Charlie kind of sort of got together, kind of sort of rubbed on each other, but really haven't done anything. But apparently that kind of satisfied him, knowing that he was almost but not quite got him some, but still he got to still work at it, because he's still trying to figure it out if it's indeed. And Charlie was basically feeling the same thing. But Charlie then went on and told Remy, said, okay, now you know what's going on. And we have Delandria. We have Delandria and the Bourgeons. And y'all guys have to excuse me, because I do have serious sinuses. And they are basically messing with the mill. And so Charlie kind of let Remy know ahead of time what, basically what she is going to be doing. And what she's going to be doing is that she pulled out her card that she got from this other white sugar cane owner, and his name was Martin Benacher, I think. Martin. Let's just do it, Martin. He is a relative of he's kind of like the black sheep of the Landrians. But he really don't do business with them, although he wanted to do business with them, but he couldn't get his cane at a discount. So Delandrium didn't want to do business with him, and so he was basically looking for another place where he could grind his mill. And so remember when Charlie's mother was in town, she introduced Charlie to Martin. So she calls up, and she let Remy knows that she's going to be talking to Martin. And she tells Remy, she says, well, in so many words, they want to mess with my people. Well, I'm going to start messing with their people. They want to take my black people, and they want to threaten my black people. So I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to pull me some white sugar. And so that's when Remy kind of sort of like telling her, I said, well, I hope you know basically what you're dealing with. And he basically, went on about his business, but he wasn't too happy with what Charlie was getting ready to do. Because when Charlie getting ready to make her power move and to get ready to do her thing, she's got this look in her face like, I can't believe, but okay. And then we have to remember now, Charlie is in a man's world. And the theory is that not only is she in a man's world, but she's basically in a white man's world. So that's 2 times the double that she's going to have to work. And so she she goes and she picks the phone up and she makes a phone call, and she talks to Martin and let him know, what the deal is, and she would like for them to get together and have get together and talk some business and everything. So meanwhile, Charlie's doing her thing. So then we go on over to we see that Nova is in her garden doing something, tending to her, I guess, her weed and everything, because Nova is a weed head. Okay, let's be honest, Nova is a weed head. And so we see this young fellow. I forgot what his name was, but he was in the earlier episode, and he was Nova's kind of like dealer, or Nova's, and when she got ready to, sell her weed and everything, she would go through him. And so she basically called, I think his name was Snappy, I'm not too sure, but she called him over. Now this is going to be interesting what I'm telling you guys. She called him, and she said, hey, and he said, well, hey, Nova, what's up? We haven't seen each other. We haven't done anything. What's going on? And then he tells her, he says, look, I have like a little party or something. I kind of sort of want you to come over. And so Nova said, cool, yeah, I'll do it. But in the meantime, look, I have something for you, and I want you to kind of sort of, pawn it, sell it, whatever you can, and take the money and put, wherever you want to do, donate it or something. I'm donating this money. Now, mind you, she's getting rid of the things that the doctor, Robert Dwyer, basically gave her as a gift. She's selling the pearl, the gray pearls, and plus she's selling this little, I know the name of it, it's like a mineral thing where you put things in it, you see the animals and whatever. And he looked at it and he says, oh, this gonna, bring some money. But she says, don't worry about it, just go ahead. Now, Nova, writers, Nova, I ain't see you try to sell any of Calvin's stuff. So why are you trying to sell Robert's stuff that he gave you out of love and everything? But you know what? I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about this when I get ready to go into this a little bit more. And so I'm still going to deal with Nova. Nova is dealing in the yard, and this one we see Maxine Water. But she didn't introduce herself as Maxine Water. Nova introduced her as Mother Brown. And so Mother Brown comes in and tells Nova, she says, look, by the hard work and everything that you have done and everything, we have been able to secure a grant. And apparently this must be a huge grant. And she kind of sort of told Nova, if it wasn't for you, making awareness and putting all this hard work out and letting, people around, the nation and everything know about this Zika thing, I don't think we would have been able to get the money. And I would like for you to kind of sort of oversee this grant. And so Nova is saying, no, I'm sure that someone else can, basically, oversee it and everything. I basically did what I need to do and everything. I'm doing it because, for the people. And so Mother Brown tells Nova, I need for you and to think about it. Now, she's a congressman, so basically she wants Nova to get into this political scene even more heavier than what she is now. Now, mind you guys, when Robert came on the scene, couple episodes, Robert had told Nova, look, in order for you to really, make money and to get money, why go for little money? Why not go for big money? Now, writers, you kick Robert, you had Nova to kick Robert to the side, but it seems like some of this work that Robert had put through with Nova there is beginning to come through. And I believe that if it had not been for Robert, if it had not been for him pushing her, yeah, he pushed her, and she really wasn't ready going for it. She really didn't want to be bound by it. But if it had not been for him, Nova and the Ninth Ward would not been receiving grant. Now remember, a couple of when they was getting into it, they were getting to make each other, to introduce each other, to get to know each other. He was able to acquire more money. Remember, now we've gotten two fun supporters. Remember that dinner that they went to and Nova couldn't stand that white guy? He messed around and turned around and they got money from him. Now, due to the fact that when Robert and Nova went on television and they made what was going on with this Zika, although Robert did do some stuff that he really shouldn't have done. He should have let Nova know, writers, bring him back, but you might have to slip around and bring him back. But do what you got to do. Now, let's roll on over to Hollywood and Aunt Vi. And we're going to get back to Nova. Let's roll over to Hollywood and Aunt Vi. Aunt Vi has just come from the drugstore, the pharmacist. And she gets her medicines. And she comes in and she gets startled. The reason why she's startled, due to the fact that Hollywood is back from his deficit. Whatever they had to do with the explosion on the boat or everything. So he had to go and I guess testify. But he tells Aunt Nova, he says, and Aunt Nova, I'm kind of jumping, but Aunt Nova seems like when she saw Hollywood, she was a little bit disturbed. She was due to the fact that she wasn't really prepared that he would be back so early. And so Aunt Violet said, well, I thought at least you would basically call and let me know, what's going on. And Hollywood was like, well, why did I gotta call my woman? Why can't I just kind of like surprise her? Because Hollywood basically did surprise her. He basically fixed lunch for her. He was, he was willing to see her and everything. He was glad to see her and everything. But then Hollywood was began to get a little bit inquisitive. Now I can't do my reviews. I gotta go blow and let you all understand. He looked and he said, what you got there? In the bags. Mind you now, white bag. And we're gonna get back to this bags. And I said, oh, it's nothing. It's basically vitamins and stuff like that. And so, Aunt Vi was basically doing something. She went on about her business and everything. And Hollywood was unpacking and everything. His clothes. But he had noticed that Aunt Vi was basically I don't know if I think she laid her bag down or she laid her pocketbook down. But either way, Hollywood went fishing because he wasn't satisfied with the answer that Aunt Vi gave him as far as those vitamins is concerned. And so we see that Hollywood went snitching. Hollywood went searching. And he found what he was looking for. Because he knew that Aunt Vi was something wrong with her. But she didn't want to open up and let her know. Because apparently she didn't, want him to be worried about him. And so Aunt Vi catches him. And she said, why are you going through my things? Why are you being nosy? And then I would say, look, Aunt Vi, what is going on? You told me, look, I'm a grown man. And I know a white bag and brown bags. White bags is for medication. When you have prescription, they put your medication in the bag. Vitamins and all the other stuff, they put them in brown bags. They put them in black bags, but sometimes the black bags be for alcohol, but we won't get back there. But we really talk about two types of bags, but really there's three types of bags. There's the white bags, there's the brown bags, and then it's the white bags. White bags are for medication. Brown bags is for, vitamins and stuff. And then the black bags is for when people buy their booze. Okay? Well, Hollywood was saying, look, this bag is a prescription bag. You know what? So that's when everybody went on and told him, look, I have lupus and everything. And that's when Hollywood, and this is when I'm telling you, the sensitivity, the emotion that these men are bringing to the table to show emotion and to see that he had, like, he was like, he wanted to cry. And that's when he told everybody, he says, look, there's no cure to this. Lupus, no cure. And basically it's true. There is no cure for lupus. There isn't. And so everybody went on in Hollywood and them had this intense conversation. And this when Hollywood tells everybody, he says, look, I love you. I'm going to be there for you. And we're going to deal with this together. It is no me. Because at first, everybody was saying, look, I don't want you to be bothered. I don't want you to be bogged down. I don't want to be hindered to you. And Hollywood said, look, woman, I ain't quit my job. I quit my job is because I wanted to be with you. I'm loving on you. And we're going to do this together. And we're going to do this together. And I'm going to help you tell your family. And I was like, I don't want to do it, but Hollywood assured her that he would be. Now, this is what we call strong love. It does not matter. Strong bond. It does not matter whether you straight, whether you gay, what color you are, white, black, or anything. Love is love, and if you have that strong love, like my preacher will tell you, and we have this thing, is love is for everyone. And you can basically see the love that Hollywood and Aunt Violet have with each other. Now, let's go over and deal with Mach. Mach, I'm thinking, Mach is like looking at this huge board, like this board right here, and this huge board has nothing but Confederate all over it. It's like it has like Confederate history. We have Grant, and we have the North and the South, and you see them on the horses, and Michael is kind of sort of like in his mind, like, I can't believe that they got this here. I can't believe this. And so that's when Mach, he called over one of his white friends, and he says, you see this Confederate? Now remind you, Mach is in a private school, so therefore 90% of the people who go to that school are white. And Mach says, well, how can they, walk by like it's nothing? This is history, Confederate history, but it's depressing Confederate history. And the young guy, his friend, says, well, we just kind of it's like an everyday thing. We just look at it, and it reminds us of, our past, where we come from and where we come. Now, writers, directors. Now, with the issues and the situation that we've got going now, and all of this Confederate stuff. Now, the Confederate was basically a sense of fear. Putting fear in the hearts of black people who at one time and still has a slave mentality. Due to the fact, go back to the earlier scene where the black people don't really want to fight the white people because they're afraid that they're going to lose their land. The Confederate history has a lot to do with how some black people react to certain things. Now, I'm not saying, I'm kind of like, it is what it is, and history is history. And history has a tendency of repeating itself. I've been blessed to be able to see some of this history. And the fact that we have this is repeating itself. And it's repeating itself in a nasty kind of way. I don't want to go into it a little bit further, but this Confederate history at Micah's prestigious preparatory school was basically picking at Michael so bad, where is that when he got with his girlfriend Kiki, and him and Kiki was at the restaurant trying to study, and Michael was just like tapping on the and then Kiki said, well, what's going on? Why are you doing this? I can't study that you're doing this. Writers, I love the fact that you put these two young people together, and the girlfriend is a very strong young black woman. Keep making her like that. I love it. And so Kiki says, well, what the issue? She tells Michael, says, if it's so much of a bother, says, why don't you do something about it? And so we leave it like that, right? So let's go on and deal with Darla. Darla, was so upset. I had greens for whatever. Darla was so upset to the fact that she called in her mother, Darlene. And she tells her mother that the fact that she is, Ralph Angel is basically not responding to me. I know he's upset and everything, and he's just not responding at all. And so this is when Darla tells Darla, well, you got to give Ralph Angel, some time. You got to give Ralph Angel some time to process all of this information. This is a low blow to him. He basically will, come around. She says, but I believe that perhaps you need to get a new start. And this is where I was kind of like, okay, writers, what you trying to do, don't do it. This is when Darlene tells Darla, she says, well, why don't you come back to D.C. and, kind of sort of start off anew fresh. And so you can kind of like basically have some time to process what you just told Ralph Angel, and then Ralph Angel has some time to process. So we can, your father and myself, we can take care of you in Blue. And this is what I kind of I like Darla. Although Darla, I'm still mad at you. Don't think that this gonna get you some brownie points. It gonna get you one. She tells Darlene, says, no, I don't want to, remove Blue from the only family that he actually know. I don't want to do that. And then this is when Darla says, well, he's our family too. He's a part of us too. And I was like, oh now he's your family. But then this is when Darlene, and this is where we find out that where Darla could be getting some of these tendencies. We found out that when Darla was going on her episode, her binging drug episode, we find out that Darla herself had some challenges too. She also had an addiction. And one of her addictions was, and one of her preference of drugs was alcohol. She was sober for 23 years. She did not have a drink or anything until Darla went on to one of her binges. And Darla was telling, Darlene was telling Darla, what went down. She said, we went looking for you 9 times. And we really couldn't find you. We didn't know where you were. You just disappeared. And then that's when Darla basically told her, with even this 23 years of sobriety, I slipped. And so, and even though I was young, you are, the fact of the matter is things like that will happen. And you are going to have to be prepared for it. But writers, Don't you dare do it. Then, this is when we find out that Darlene had asked Darla, do you remember? What was it? Was it just one man? And that's when we find out. And this is where it's going to get real nasty, y'all. And I'm thinking that Blue may not be Ralph Angel's son. May not be, because we're finding out that she had multiple partners. And she had multiple partners, and she doesn't know who the man was. But all she knows is that she had sex, that it wasn't just one man. We thinking that she had sex with one man, but she had sex with more than one man. So now, if we bring in Maury Povich to do the DNA, we gotta find out who the dad is, who the papa is. And then we're gonna go all through the season trying to find out who the papa. We don't know. So we find out that she had multiple partners. Now let's get back over to let's get back over to Nova. Nova had been invited to this little rally, to this little party and everything. And so when Nova comes in, everybody had recognized Nova, and they were saying, oh, Nova. They was like all happy to see it due to the fact that, remember now, she's gone kind of sort of national. And so we had this one lady, I was like, what the deal? Why are you? I mean, this one lady really got into Nova, and she was like, Nova, why did you, put a scare on saying that there was a Zika in the ward, in the 9th ward, when there really wasn't? You had my mother, going to the doctor and finding out that it really wasn't. Who told you to speak for us? You can't speak for us. And then she really started digging into Noah, and then Noah was like, yo, I don't know what you're talking about, due to the fact that I made this, people to take notice that if it's a possibility, it could, be a Zika virus. We just attained, Mother Brown, the congressman, just let us know that we just attained a large grant. And that's when the girl said, in her mind, said, I really don't care about that. Because basically, what are you doing? Your name throwing, your name dropping and stuff. That don't mean a thing. You're just gonna be sitting. I mean, what are you? And I was like, yo, what you doing? Are you mad due to the fact it ain't you? And see, that's the other thing. Black women and the writers, Ava and Oprah, y'all got it right, because we've been so indoctrinated, looking at all of this negative TV, that we're coming at each other's throat, tearing each other down, talking about each other, saying this, saying that. And it is definitely something that we need to kind of sort of, come on, get it right. I'm hot, y'all have to excuse me, but I'm carrying on. So let's go back over to Nova. She took it, but let's go. But I still say Robert had also a lot to do with it, and I believe Robert is in the background making things happen. He may not be able to have Nova as a partner, and he knows that Nova is for him, but he is going to be one of those people that's going to make things happen. And I don't know, for some reason, Nova just don't want to come up out of that 9th ward. And remember what Michelle says on that speech? When we go low, we go high. And that's basically what Robert was telling, Nova. Why would you come over here and stay in a lower range when you can get, and have a better and a more effect on your people, and politically, people listen to you. And that's the same thing that Mother Brown was telling her to do. But Nova, you have to really realize, you got to come to the, I hope you run into I hope you run into Robert again, and this time I hope you realize that, yeah, you were in love with Kevin. We understand that, but anyway, I divest. So let's go over to Charlie. Now, Charlie has Martin has came through, and Charlie has changed her clothes and everything, and basically she has the conversation because it was a long conversation, and so she basically tell Martin, who's a part of the Bourgeois and who are part of the Landrier, tells him that blood is thicker than water, and that when it comes to business, business is business. And so we find out that, make a long story short, we find out that our man Martin likes Charlie. And Charlie sensed it because when they went on the tour of the mill, he invited and wanted to have dinner with Charlie. And Charlie was like, I can't mix business with pleasure. And so this is when he went in and to dig a little bit deeper into Charlie's personal affairs. He asked Charlie, he says, are you dating anyone? Charlie says, yes, I am dating someone. And then he goes on and goes back and said, well, this is a little bit early for you to be dating due to the fact that you just got a divorce. And he says, are you sure? And so she, you know how she's getting ready to do something. And so she was like, you know what? He says, well, tell you what. Why don't we have dinner and we'll make it all about business? So we see that this man likes Charlie. This white man wants some chocolate from Charlie. Now, let's get on with Charlie and Micah and Remy. We try to wrap this up. Remy comes in after Charlie has this business meeting with one of the Bourgeois and one of with him. And apparently, while they were having their meeting, he asked for a particular brand of liquor. And basically, Charlie did not have it. And what had happened is that Martin had sent over a basket, a gift basket. And in that gift basket was a lot of expensive liquor because Charlie really didn't have a bar with a lot of expensive liquor. And what he wanted, she didn't have. So he sent her a little present with very expensive liquor. So it says that the next time that he comes through, and it probably will be a next time, that you are going to have his type of liquor that he's drinking. Oh, okay, well, our boy Remy rolls in and see that she has a gift, and that gift is a basket full of expensive liquor. And he finds out that she did have the appointment with Martin Benetton, and Remy got a little bit of jealous because Charlie recognized that he was getting jealous. And so Remy is so quick. He has like a little sly mouth with himself. And he tells Charlie, he says, the one thing that I like about you is that, you know, you're very, very smart. But when it comes to business, you basically, in other words, he was saying, when it comes to business, you'll basically do anything to land that deal. And so Charlie was basically, he basically said, but so Charlie was basically looking at him, saying, what you trying to say? In so many words, Remy was trying to tell Charlie, you're easy to be bought. And so we go on and we find out that Michael tells his mother that he really doesn't really want to be in where he is. He's living because he tells his mother about, you know, the Confederate, what he found out on the Confederate. And Charlie sees Michael has been looking at, I guess, the internet, and they were doing some, you know, taking down the Confederate flags and the statue and everything. And then Charlie says, well, basically it is what it is. She says, I understand it. And then Michael says, I really don't like it here and everything. She says, well, in some sense, it's a good thing that we're here. And then it's another thing that we're not here, and I understand it. And Michael tells his mother, says, you're kind of sort of beginning to be soft. And then that's when Charlie went on and told Michael that she basically likes Remy, and that Remy basically was asking questions about children. And so that's when Michael tells his mother, I really like Remy, and, you know, I guess I'm going to become a father. I mean, not a father. I guess I'm going to become, you know, a big brother. And Charlie was like, nah, I don't know. And so let's go back over to Aunt Vi. Now, we see that Aunt Vi is basically chilling. And then we all of a sudden we see Ralph Angel coming in. And this is when Ralph Angel was drunk, as the old people say, than a skunk. Ralph Angel was drunk. He was so drunk, and when he came in, Hollywood and Aunt Vi saw her, says, what's going on? Why is she so drunk? What's going on, baby? What's going on? And so that's when Hollywood said, well, I found him over there at one of the bars and everything. And he's been drinking and everything. And then he's got a boatload of liquor in the trunk. And she says, well, Ralph Angel, baby, what's going on? What's going on? Then that's when Hollywood takes Ralph Angel over to the thing. Then we see Aunt Vi. Aunt Vi is coming in, and Aunt Vi is sitting down, and she begins to ask the prayer. And then when she begins to ask the prayer, she begins to pray. And she begins to ask God to take whatever this is, whatever this darkness is, whatever, you know, to take all of this away. Then I like the way the cameras did it. I like the way how they basically fade everything out. This is when Aunt Vi was praying, this is when we see everybody. We see Ralph Angel is a part of this prayer. We see Charlie, this is a part of this prayer. We see Nova, that's a part of this prayer. And we see Blue is in the garden digging, and he says, oh, I found it. And you hear his little voice. And then that's when basically it went off. And the title of this is These I Stand. So therefore, to me, These I Stand is for the prayer that Aunt Vi was putting up to God. In other words, she put everybody in that prayer. She didn't just pray for her. She prayed for the whole entire family, all the way down to Blue. I don't know if I saw a dollar in this mix. I'm going to wait till November, I think the 7th, that's when it will come back on demand, and we'll basically see if dollar was indeed included into this prayer. But I think that's the reason it's called This I Stand. It's because she added everybody into it, and this is how she felt, and this is her stance on the situation. She wants this to live. She wants everybody to come through the storm, because right now it is definitely a storm on the whole entire family. In the meantime, this is All Things Cheryl, and my channel is called Cheryl Unapologetically. There's a couple of things I haven't been asking, but in order to help my algorithm, I need for you to subscribe, hit that like button and hit that notification. If I left anything out, let me know. Let me know exactly how I'm going. I think I'm kind of sort of getting better. Although, like I said, my reviews are kind of long. They're kind of long is because I'm a chatter person. But in the meantime, peace and love. Until next Thursday, let's find out what's going on. We still gotta find out, what's going on with Papa. And then we gotta find out Darlene is trying to take Blue, and I'm out. Peace.